all the way from fucking Scotland. Chris fucking Duncan. What's up, brother?
Kicked him in the head twice. I felt like I was like stamping on a sponge. It was just insane. He just kept coming forward. No neck. I'm born and bred for this. Like, it's in my blood.
The rumor has it you're related to like William Wallace down the line. There's like a
pretty
thing,
much.
Yeah?
I remember turning on the TV at night time and I seen Donald Cerrone head kick Melvin Gallard, and I was like, what the hell is this? I'm gonna have to try that. I'm gonna have to try this. I'll be fighting on December 6th against Terrance McKinney. Don't blink. I'm gonna put him away. The problem's coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody watching around the world, it's your host, Death Row MMA. Another great competitor, another great athlete, and hopefully, God willing, a future champion, all the way from fucking Scotland. Freedom! Teammate, friend, and a fucking standout. Making waves all across the UFC, has one of the best fighter-friendly fan styles out there right now that everybody loves to watch. My pleasure to have him, Chris fucking Duncan. What's up, brother?
Man, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Man.
Pleasure.
Let's go. How you doing, bro? You just finished training, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
How was
So
it?
I got here last week, just kind of dipped in and out of training, just a couple 1 sessions a day, 2 sessions a day, and then this is like going to be my first hard week. So
Okay.
well, like 7 weeks until I fight Terrance McKinney.
Oh, perfect.
So good fan favorite fight, just like you said.
And Tenny's another guy that brings it,
Yeah, for sure.
Crazy fast, crazy good athlete, crazy explosive, and he always comes to fight,
Yeah.
And he's on a good little streak right now. So I think like the winner of this is definitely
Top 15. That's what I'm aiming for sure.
Top 15, top 10.
Yeah. He's a kind of 1 round guy though. He's not won a fight in the UFC past the first round. So
Yeah.
keep that fucking chin down, hands up, and just put on a show. Everybody back home, my last fight, I fought a guy from this gym, and
Yes.
a lot of people were saying, what does it feel like? I'm like, we're fighting, like it doesn't really matter. I didn't train with him, so it's like I didn't have any like friendship with him and stuff.
And not being biased, but this gym is like the best at. You have a fight with so-and-so and they're in this gym, cool. The camps, everything will be separated. You'll have your own room, your own coaching staff.
That's it.
And there's not a lot of, like I can't see that dynamic happening in any other gym. It's just here, the way that the coaches are. There's no like gossiping. There's no people trying to spy on you, then run back to the other guy.
No.
It feels like you come here and do your shit. It doesn't matter if you're fighting that person 2 months from now. They'll have them in another room. It's amazing what they do here at American Top Team.
When I was back home, a lot of people were talking about it. It was like they were saying that it would be favoritism, but they just don't know the dynamics of this gym. Like they don't know how vast it is, how many amazing fighters there are, and how professional that everybody was.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I struggled with in the camp was like trying to like not show my injuries. Tweaked my knee, tweaked my back, got a little bit of staph, all these sorts of things. It was difficult to like navigate around that. But other than that, hats off to Dan, how he conducts himself in the gym and make sure everybody's professional. So, and also my opponent, I was number 8 in the dorms. No, he was number 8 and I was number 9. So we like lived next door to each other, and he was super professional as well. And it was the type of fight that I just knew it was going to be a barn burner.
And, that has to be up there, man.
Yeah, for sure.
The fights of the year.
And it was in the Apex as well, Everything was super personal, quiet, could hear everything. Kicked him in the head twice. I felt like I was like stamping on a sponge. It was just insane. He just kept coming forward. No neck.
Yeah. I mean, I've worked out with him. I've seen him here. I've seen his fights. The guy's got one speed, and he's like a dog. You got to put him down. He's not going to stop coming. You kicked him, and it was like, it wasn't with him. He kept just coming at you.
He wouldn't
Very
stop
good
yet.
fight, yeah.
Yeah, he's
got a bright future, too.
Yeah, for sure. It's just the way that I had to fight that guy is obviously not great for brain cells and God knows what else. But, if I gave him too much respect, I feel like he would just capitalize on that. So just had to fight him and show him, I can also fight as well. So came out on top in the end. No injuries, couple cuts, but other than that, feeling good.
Great fight, too, brother.
Yeah. And we get paid for that as well,
Best, huh?
A lot of people were like, you can't be in many fights like that. And I'm like, fuck, I'm getting paid to do that. And the only reason why they're saying that is because they actually can't be in a fight like that themselves. So you know, I'm born and bred for this. Like, it's in my blood, and you know, I would do it again.
When did you start? When was the first time you had a taste of combat?
I was 21 MMA.
21.
Yeah, I was late. Yeah, super late.
And before that, any street fights? Any?
Obviously, yeah.
Putting on the gloves with your friends and boxing?
Yeah, doing a little bit of that. I was
always
always
have, like,
good.
natural ability? Did you feel you had natural ability?
Yeah, I think so. I think not being brought up in the kind of normal household, you know, I was like in a little country back home in Scotland, and I was the only family that had separated parents. Like, I lived with my grandparents because I was foster cared for a while. I was in a home and stuff, and then I went to the school, and I was like the kind of the black sheep of the school. So I was kind of at the forefront of that, trying to bully me for this and that, and I would just fight. That's the only thing I could do.
Fights.
Yeah, just nothing gang related, nothing bad. Just the way I dealt with it was physical. I was never like a crazy bad guy at school, or just a little bit nasty, a nasty streak. I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't talk with my words. I just thought.
So when he came looking for it, you were giving it to him.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they call me the problem. So, yeah. But
so many fights growing up.
Yeah.
Any sports, soccer, anything?
Rugby. I played rugby when I was young. Yeah, played rugby. I always wanted to be a professional rugby player. Never worked out.
So
And
from what age to what age?
From about 10 years old to 18.
Oh, shit, okay.
And then I went to college. Believe it or not, I was a shepherd. I was a farmer. And
Nice.
went to college for that. And then...
To be a shepherd.
To be a shepherd, yeah. And then I decided, I need to get back into rugby. I went to kickboxing to get good at, or pre-training almost. And then it just snowballed into MMA was kind of the fashion then, it was like 2014 it started to really like take off. And I was like, I'm going to try this. And, I had my first fight April 18th, 2014. And it just snowballed from there.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
I remember when you first walked in through the doors here, they were talking good about you. The guys are like, hey, work out with this guy. We got high hopes for him.
Yeah.
But you now, brother.
That's it. And it's all to do with the gym and the guys I'm training with. We don't get that back home. And
I mean, nowhere in the world. You see what the room was like today, on Tuesday and Monday. It's crazy amount of talent we have in there,
Yeah, it's insane.
You could go with a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu 3-time world champion, and the next thing you're going with a wrestling NCAA champion.
Yeah, it's rough when you come here to start off with, and you slowly start to progress and get better and learn, and like guys like yourself, when we first sparred together, giving me tips and stuff like that, like that means the world to a guy that's just came from Scotland, coming over to a gym like this, it's.
How did you end up here?
Robert Whiteford.
Okay,
Robert Whiteford.
That's right. Robert, shout out to my boy Robert, man.
Yeah. So we in Scotland, there's like 2 main gyms, and we just never really gelled with those gyms. Great coaching, like there's nothing wrong with the gyms. I just didn't gel with the team, and we kind of stuck together. And he came here, so I just followed suit.
Perfect.
Came here, and it's the best decision I've ever made. And a lot of people, I've fought London maybe 2 or 3 times now, went in the UFC. And everybody's like, why are you going to America to fight in London? I'm like, you don't understand, like, the quality of training here. Like, I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of sleep, a little bit of jet lag to be a better fighter. Not for the fight, but long term. Like, people think, like, I'm going for this camp to get better for this camp. I'm just getting better all the time.
All the time.
And, people were saying, I should do it.
Those are the guys that go the furthest. When you see that long game, it's like,
Yeah, exactly.
And this is the one-stop shop. You come here, you get your wrestling, your conditioning, your striking, your sparring, anything, just about anything, you get it done in one place. And that's what I think attracts so many fighters. Like myself, I'm an hour away, I'm in Miami.
Yeah.
And since I had the privilege to come to this gym, it's like, why would I go anywhere else? I got everything I need here.
It's like you say, a one-stop shop. And, every guy in this gym a couple of guys, like for instance, originated from American Top Team, but guys that have come all over the world, specialize in different combat sports, and they're all specialists in their own right. And you get to take a little bit of that and pull it into your game and make you a better fighter long term. You've got Moicano and Grant, they're great on the back, and you've got yourself, great striking, good Muay Thai, and it was such a versatile gym, and
you have guys that wrestle since they're 5 years old. All they did is wrestle.
Yeah, these Georgians and Russians.
Yeah,
Oh God, nightmare.
You used to watch combat growing up though?
Yeah. So the first ever fight I watched was, so I used to like watch TV in my room, do some press ups and stuff. I was always involved with fitness, so I always like to keep fit. I remember turning on TV at night time, and I seen Donald Cerrone head kick Melvin Gillard, and I was like, "What the hell is this?
Ooh, yeah,
I'm gonna
that's a
have
good
to try that. I'm gonna have to try this." So there was nowhere in my area that could obviously facilitate that. So it was like taekwondo and kickboxing and stuff like that. So I kind of dipped in and out of that. And then, after maybe a period of time that I was still playing rugby, I was like, I'm going to give this a shot. And that was the first fight. And then after seeing that's when it was on Spike TV. And I seen like Jose Aldo versus Uriah Faber. And I was like, oh my God, this is
Another
insane.
brutal fight.
Oh, fuck.
That was brutal.
So, yeah.
Fucking wild. Beat the shit out of his
That's
fucking
it.
leg. Hit
So
his leg
bad.
with a baseball. I remember that fight. It was yesterday. That was a good fight. So rumor has it you're related to like William Wallace down the line. There's like a
Pretty
thing
much.
there.
Yeah. So my hometown is a place called Stirling, and Stirling is where the Battle of Bannockburn happened. So in 1314, there was a huge war between William Wallace, or the Scottish, and the English. The English came to Scotland to the Battle of Bannockburn, and there's a big bridge, and William Wallace used his fight IQ and drew them over the bridge and attacked them when they were on the bridge and killed all the English. And it was like 100-1 compared to, it was a really famous battle. And that's why I have this tattoo on the top of my neck. It says, "Every man dies, not every man really lives." So that's what William Wallace said in the movie, obviously. And that's why I face paint as well,
Yeah, I mean, if you Scottish, man, there's no other way you go about it. That's the hardest fucking movie out too.
Yep, yep.
Shout out to Mel Gibson for that one. That's a gem. I used to watch that fight before my fights. I remember a lot of times just throw it on, just a couple scenes that I would fast forward. I'm like, shit, right now.
Yeah.
Get locked in there, you know.
The bit when they're like talking about going to war and he's shouting, and like giving me goosebumps even thinking about it right now.
So if you fighting like an Englishman or something like, is it a little bit more like?
For sure.
I lose this dude.
There was my last. Well,
is it the same with the Irish?
Nah, we're Irish are quite close to us. Okay. Similar kind of culture and stuff like that. It's mainly the Scottish and English kind of historically going back.
Did you ever get to meet Sean Connery?
No, I have not. No, you met him?
Nah.
So when I fought Jordan Vucenic is from England, and a lot of the media were pushing the Scotland-England, and in rugby it's called the Calcutta Cup. So they were calling our fight the Calcutta Cup of MMA. And Jordan said whoever loses the fight would get a tattoo of each other's. His nickname was the Epidemic, and mine was the Problem. So we're supposed to get a tattoo of each other. Whoever won, the other guy would get the tattoo, but it fell through. I didn't push it either. But
yeah, you don't really care to have a dude.
Yeah. So yeah, I guillotined him in the second round.
Which is crazy to me, man, because since you got in here, I could see in the areas where you didn't have experience, but then I could see the areas where you're just like incredibly gifted, like submissions. You have a knack for him, especially here, and you started so late in the game. You just have in it. I see you in practice. You're always catching good wrestlers, good jiu-jitsu guys. You just have like this knack, fucking strangle people, get holds. You do real well there, brother. And it's crazy. But I thought you started with like jiu-jitsu at first. I thought you started with jiu-jitsu like at 10 years old, the way you move and stuff, 7 years old, and then I thought maybe you got later into MMA or something, but your jiu-jitsu is freaking good, man.
So, believe it or not, I started, after I kind of came here, I started at a place called Marcus Nardini's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Club. It's back home in Scotland, so shout out to them. They've kind of finessed a couple of things like my guillotine and stuff like that. But it was actually Dustin that showed me the reverse handshake grip. Yeah, so
Poirier's another.
He was like, I was getting a couple good guillotines and stuff, and he's like, "Have you ever tried this?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna try that." So I've kind of, adapted it to my game. I go wrist to wrist to start off with, and then I switch my hands in behind, and I submit everybody with it at least once.
Yeah, I've seen you catch a couple people.
Yeah, for sure. So it's like my go-to now. It's like something that just happens real naturally. I don't really think about it too much, but I don't know why. I actually developed it. I injured myself on my debut, and I was watching Pahumpa's class. He was doing
Shout out to
Anaconda.
Pahumpa, another
Yeah,
great
for
coach
sure.
here.
I was doing Anacondas, and I was just watching it. You know, I wasn't able to train because I'd hurt my ankle, so I was just watching, and it just embedded itself in me. So, you know, and then being over here, American Top Team, and trying it on these elite guys, maybe not getting so much success with it, and then going home to guys that are a little bit lesser, you know, getting
Polishing it
yeah,
up,
exactly,
sharpening it.
and then
And then
coming
you
back
come back
here,
and then you're like, all
and it's
right.
there we go, exactly, yeah.
Because this is like the real testing grounds, you know?
Yeah.
You get something, you work on it, and then you bring it here. If you could get away with it here, you could get away with it in any fight.
That's it. That's it. So, you know, I found that very, very important. You know, the basics work well here because they work. And, you know, all this flashy highlight stuff is for highlights. And you don't get away with that too much in training. And I remember that even when I fought the guy Jordan Fucenik, we were talking about I remember I was with Dakota Bush, one of the training partners here, and I would get him down and I would like have his back and he'd just pop up and he'd break my hands. I'm like, God, this guy, like I can't hold him down. And then in the fight, I was like preempting Jordan to stand up and he just lay there. I was like, so this is the level, you know, like the level here is crazy different, you know. And
everywhere. I mean, any guy. Some unranked guy that you never seen here is just in the match there. He might just give you the toughest call of your life, you know. It's crazy amount of bodies. That's why we keep attracting the right kind too. And I also feel that's what I like about our gym is you see as big as it is, it's also kind of small in the sense where we don't just allow anybody to come in. The coaches, the staff, Dan, Richie, they really scout the guys out, make sure it's going to be a good fit. And boom, bring us in. And usually, like, you know, guys like me and you, that you're going to go out and come back in your shield. If you lose, just give it all you got, you know, and come in here with no ego.
Exactly. And
give it all you got in here, and not the next day try to start a fight or be hurt at somebody because they caught you like in a leg lock or something. No egos here, you know? That's one thing that I think, since it starts all the way at the top and everybody that comes in sees that, like, whoever here is a champion, who's been a champion, there's no ego here. I mean, you could attest to it. Everybody's like, let's just get better.
Definitely.
We're going to shake hands and go hard, and then after that, that's it.
Exactly. And be safe. You know, there's fucking millions of pounds on the line sometimes.
We're pros, so you got to be, you know, take care of each other, but push it, you know.
Exactly. And you find that with all the top guys. You know, all the top guys are at the top for a reason, because they're safe. They've got training partners who want to train with them. If you're mad and you're like causing injury all the time, people don't want to go with you. You're like damaging your training partners. So that's one thing that Robert really installed into me. He's like, if you don't be safe, you don't get to train with guys like yourself and Dustin and stuff like that when you come here. He's like, be safe. It's not all in. You can wrestle hard, but don't do stupid stuff like scissor takedowns and jumping submissions, especially on the mat when there's millions of pounds on the line for these guys, you know.
What does Chris do after a fight? You raging, you partying, no sleep for like 3 days, or you go home, chill out?
Nah, so I'm a family man now. I've got 2 kids, and it used to be party for me. I used to be up to no good, but I've got a great fiancée, 2 kids. So because I do so much time over here, I try and get here 8 to 10 weeks before. I'm looking forward just going home. Last time in Vegas, I had a few drinks. You know, went to the Bellagio and stuff. Did a little bit of gambling, but my face was all swollen up. So
that's the best.
Like, in the glasses, you know. But yeah, I like it. I'm pretty simple. A little bit of food.
What's your go-to meal after all that weight cutting?
Like right after the weight cut, I'm like something clean. But like when I'm eating real bad, it's usually a pizza because it's like readily available. You know, like I just order it, send it back to the room. Tiago Alves, one of my coaches, shout out to him. He got the pizzas last time. Best pizza I ever had. You know.
Okay. Yeah,
for sure. And then a couple beers.
Okay. And do you drink on off season?
Not particularly, no.
I did. It's just more celebration, right?
Yeah. Celebrations for me. Like when I was like, you know, that period I said to you, like I finished rugby and went to college. It's a bit different from the US. We call college like university almost. When I was there, I was drinking, taking drugs, like just on a downward spiral. So,
but training for rugby?
No. Stopped because I went to college and I thought, I'm done with rugby, so I'm done. So I just started drinking, taking drugs, and that was my time of doing all that. And then when I moved into MMA, I thought, okay, I need to just get the head down and focus.
See your composure when you're in there too. You just that's one thing that really, I think, sets you apart, that you don't have that experience in that time, but yet when you get in there, it's like you know you're supposed to be. Like, all right, you get hit and you don't panic. You're like, all right, cool, no problem. I'm gonna get mine. You get taken down, you move your hips, you work your way up. I never see you like drowning, you know, like getting
too much. Yeah.
And that is something super important in fighting.
Yeah, I think that's all to do with your mental capacity, like being calm, cool, collective. You know, you don't want to be like a rat up a drain pipe and chasing after things, and if it's not there, it's not there. And I found, like, at the very start of my UFC career, I don't know if you found this yourself, but like when you first get there, it's like a brand new job. You're like panicking, there's pressures on.
Good impression.
Exactly. So I didn't make a good impression in my first fight. My second fight I did a little bit better, but I was so nervous. Like, because I won in the Contender Series, big knockout, they sent a film crew. I was like, pressure was on. Family was down, kids were down. I was panicking. And, you know, after that, I was like, what was I panicking for? You know, it's just same in the gym. Just do the thing that you're supposed to do and then just up the road, you know, and start again. And I feel a little bit more at peace when I have a fight down the line because it keeps me focused. You know what it's like? It's almost like my full identity right now is fighting because I've pushed myself so hard into it.
Provide also for your family that way.
That's another thing, you know.
Give them a good lifestyle with.
That's it. I've managed to retire my fiancée.
Nice.
So we'll have a pretty low-key life, but I think that was my next goal when I was in the UFC.
Scotland?
She's from Scotland as well. Redhead, looks like she's out of Brave. You seen the film Brave?
Yeah.
So she looks like she's out of that.
Scottish as it gets.
Yep. So managed to retire her, 2 kids. You know, that's a proud moment for me. And then just looking to hit that top 15 and start getting paid.
Oh, brother. So what perfect world? You go out there, you get your hand raised against Mr. McKinney. Who'd be next? Who would you see yourself? How long do you think before you challenge for the title?
I think I'm far away from that right now. You know, it's all about performances as well. You know, you've seen Mauricio Rufy. You know how fast he got catapulted to the top 15, and that's because he's putting on amazing performances. You know, that guy was like the boogeyman of the division, and then you seen his last fight, he just got made to look like he was just average. So it just shows you the levels. I'm quite happy building my way up the levels. I'm getting more comfortable. Anybody in the top 15 would be great for me next. I
like the approach you think, especially since you started like a little later. Just really get the fundamentals in, get everything right. Because I think you couldn't give it a better example. I really like Rufy, and I was like, this guy is scary. And out of the all of them, I thought maybe he's one of the more athletic ones, really good. But he hadn't had to grapple yet like that. We hadn't seen that, so you know now he had to grapple a little bit.
It's almost like he's leveled down. You've seen, there's a chink in his armor. You're like, that's what you'd have to do. And super dangerous, so dangerous.
That is, you know, when you have that level of like a chink in your armor, the guys are gonna go after it.
That's
and
it.
Even like the strikers that never grapple, those guys could grapple as well. You know, they know what they're doing. You're like guys in here that you would never think could grapple, but you go around with them, you find out, man, everybody is just part of standard. You have to be able to grapple at a certain level. Exactly. You got to be able to have defense on your feet and offense on your feet to a certain level. Sports evolve so much, man. I love it. What's another combat sport? Boxing, wrestling.
Yeah, I like boxing. I quite like a high profile fight. For instance, like I quite like watching Misfits because there's like, for instance, like your Jake Paul or whatever. You know, these sorts of guys. You know, it brings a little bit of like
eyeballs.
Yeah, it brings eyeballs, and I think it's quite good. You see different styles, but like I like a Canelo, you know, Crawford. That fight was great.
What did you think about that? Who did you think was gonna win that fight?
I thought Crawford.
Okay.
Only because he wrestles a little bit, and I think he was just going to be a little bit more imposing, and I was right. You know?
I don't know anything about boxing. I thought Crawford's gonna outbox him, but I was certain of it that if Canelo hit him, the fight would change right in that moment. Whenever he hit him, the fight would change. So if it was finally round 8 that he hit him with a good shot, well then
flip the switch.
He was gonna start to like not knock him out or take him out, but we'd be able to see his size and power go through it.
Yep.
He hit Crawford with such good shots, and he walked right through him. I was like, what the fuck? Now I want to know because obviously he's the best guy at 168, but is he gonna stay at 168? Is he gonna fight these monsters? Because speaking of monsters, the Mexican monster, David Benavidez at 168. this guy's huge. Is he gonna fight him? You know,
big rangy dude as well.
And him and all the top 5 guys are like that. Canelo was the shortest, smallest guy at 168. The rest of these guys are huge. So I wonder what's gonna happen with Bud.
I like the way that boxing's starting to realize that they need to start putting on the best fights, because before they were bringing in
the best.
Yeah,
cherry picking too much.
That's why I think the UFC is catapulted to where it's at right now. Like, boxing need to fight the big names need to fight each other because it brings attention to everybody. You know, like Canelo would fight anyone at any given time. You know, Crawford the same. You know, and that's why, like, for instance, like your Misfits or these boxing shows that are bringing 2 stars together, it's bringing eyes and they're getting paid. You know, it's important. You know,
very important.
Yeah.
What do you do in the downtime, free time?
Not much other than like training. Like I say, I like spending time with my family. In Scotland, because I'm the only Scottish fighter from the UFC. There used to be a guy called Paul Craig. So yeah, he's a good jiu-jitsu guy, great fighter, done a lot for the sport. It's and when I'm in Scotland, there's a lot of stuff to be done. You know, there's a lot of people wanting seminars and things, so I try and keep myself busy with that. But recently, I've been trying to just spend a little bit more time with the family, and just trying to build my wealth a little bit, be smart with my money.
You got your money out right now. Give us some financial tips.
Don't spend it.
Don't spend it.
Or move to America, because the UK is absolutely bro.
You can't even talk, or you can't make Facebook posts. You can't talk on Instagram about your religion. You can't be on the street.
There's
it's crazy.
Grant Dawson just sent me a link to something that happened near my hometown in a place called Falkirk. This guy like raped 15-year-old kids. You know, it's insane what's happening over there right now. It's a scary place to be in the UK. And I think, you know, once Donald Trump's done over here, I think we should bring him over to Scotland.
That's a long time. They got some evil shit going on over there, but that's all done on purpose. You know,
yeah, for sure. It's not good,
last
man.
Couple years.
Yeah, for sure. Scotland's on, like, it's hard to be successful in Scotland with money because, you know, we've got so many things.
What's the taxes over there like?
So it's quite complicated. Like, your basic rate's 20%, and then if you are a limited company, so like, you've got corporation tax, but we've got, I don't know if you have a thing called VAT here. Do you have VAT?
Not sure.
Value added tax. So
no.
Once you hit a certain threshold, they just go, okay, you due us this as well. And then we've got a thing called super tax. So people like footballers that earn over 150 grand a year or 200 grand, they get hit with this tax as well. So
makes you not want to work. Makes you like, what am I going to work for? You're going to take all my money anyway.
So the highest tax band as a limited company, I think, is at 42%, which is insane. Or 48%, I think. It might even be that. So it's a difficult thing. So I think for me, I think the next step for me would be my green card. Trying to get here, bring the family here. You know, you guys over here in America are so switched on. And Donald Trump, for instance, you know, he wants value to the community, value to, you know, the US. So if you can add value to that, why not? Like, you come across here. So sports people who have got influential characters, you know, and if I'm over here working and adding value to the US, I don't see why that would be a problem. So
no, it won't. As long as you're paying your taxes, they'll love you, man.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll love you as long as you pay your taxes, bro. Don't you worry about it.
Exactly. So I think that'll be the next move for me, try and get myself here.
Oh.
Stay in Miami, 305.
Let's go, Chris. Come on, man.
Yes.
You want to give them the date, everything, all details to your fight to the people watching?
Yeah. So I'll be fighting on December 6th against Terrance McKinney. Don't blink. I'm going to put him away. I'm going to try my hardest to put him away. You know how this sport goes. Terrance seems to only have one round. And like I say, don't blink, and the problem's coming.
God bless him many more. We see you soon, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.